welcome, Anthony. It's a privilege to have you on the Geospatial Index. I'm proud to say we have someone from a company that is based both in the UK, but also in Ghana. The name of the company is Aya Data. My understanding is that you do some geospatial analysis. You also have an emphasis on AI. So to expand on these topics, Anthony, perhaps you could kick us off with the elevator pitch for Aya Data.
Yes, thank you, Wilfred. I will describe Aya Data as a UK Ghana-based AI solutions company. We work across the entire AI value chain in the sense that we provide data collection services. We do the data labeling as well as we build and deploy AI models, and which makes us basically vertically integrated, right? And this vertical integration allows us to be able to custom build solutions from scratch at an affordable like pricing, right? So we have companies that might come to us, and then we have to basically start the entire process of the from the data collection to the labeling and then building it and deploying it for the company. And so, yeah, that's just basically a few lines of what Aya Data does. And we are 3 years old, by the way, so we are still quite fresh, but we have grown significantly. We employ over 150 people currently, both in UK and in Ghana. We are proud to be one of the fastest biggest employers in the tech space across West Africa as well. So,
wow, yeah,
that's just a brief background on Aya Data.
Yeah, that's really fascinating and interesting. I think for listeners to hear that AI is a thing in Ghana and shows really the reach of this concept around the world. Okay, so could you talk about the niche that Aya Data serves?
Yes. So that is a very tricky question because, like I explained earlier, we kind of work across the entire AI value chain, and we are at a point in our in our business where we are servicing multiple industries, where we have multiple clients that span across different use cases. But I will say for a fact that what we consider to be our niche is precision agriculture and geospatial AI, in the sense that we have vested interest in this particular field. We have developed something in this particular field, which I will be happy to speak more about as we go on. And so to just narrow it down to what our niche is, I will say our niche is precision agriculture, geospatial AI, and we have very interesting thing we are doing around voice bots and chat bots across like the African, like different African languages. But for the sake of what the geospatial index is, I'll just keep it to the precision agriculture and then geospatial AI.
Yeah, perfect. Actually, it's one of the sub indices of this geospatial index that I'm trying to maintain, precision agriculture. And there's a lot of very big, well-known agricultural equipment companies from Japan, like Komatsu, to the US, like John Deere. So it's interesting to hear of companies like yours as well that are participating in that niche. So that's really great. And yes, I'm also interested to hear about local language support or interfaces with natural language AI-based interfaces. So that sounds really interesting, what you're developing there. Okay, so at Aya Data, how do you ensure that you're working backward from customer needs?
That is a very interesting question, and it's a question we've had to ask ourselves personally as a business over the past few months, I believe, because a lot of companies with the whole AI hysteria right now, a lot of companies are offering a lot of things, a lot of use cases on what they think AI can do and what AI is supposedly changing and what's all the magic AI is supposed to do, right? And then you ask yourself, what markets are they trying to serve? What markets, who are our primary targets, who are our customers, which people should we be speaking to? And For just to answer that your question, for us as a business, it's very important for us that we adopted like a very highly personalized approach where we are customizing our services to meet like the specific needs of the clients, right? And rather than pushing like a pre-packaged product or a pre-packaged solution shoving it down the client's throat, we rather like engage in a very unique way. So I'll give you an example, right? We have a number of like local partners and clients that we have done work for or we are speaking to. We try as much as possible to make sure we are engaging these people on ground, in person, learning of their pain points and learning on how we can, let's say, basically create a customizable, like custom solution for them, right? So we are not going around. A few weeks ago, I went on like a field trip, visited a number of like plantations across Ghana. And what's the eye opener was the fact that plantation A, plantation B, crop A, crop B have totally different needs, right? So you have a situation where a plantation that does, let's say, specializes in mango has a totally different need from a specialization, a plantation that does like oil palm, right? And so for us, it's important for us as a business to approach the entire thing from a very personalized approach where we are engaging these clients and making sure we are building solutions that they want and not like solutions that we just build and then shove it down the throat.
Yeah, I love the idea of you working for an AI company with all these complicated technical terms, at the same time getting out and visiting farms. I love this combination. That really sounds like you're doing what you should be doing. And it's nice contrast.
The trips are not very nice, but we still have to, because they're like hours of like, really far out of like the central city. They are not very nice trips, but it's important that we do these things to make sure we are addressing the right problems and we are solving the right challenges.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I'd love if you could send some photos or videos. I can put those.
I'll be happy to right after the call.
Yeah,
I'll be happy to.
That'd be really cool. Okay, so I guess as a measure of your success in working backwards from customer needs, how fast is customer growth?
That's a really interesting question, right? Because I would say we have like, we've experienced really steady growth in terms of our like customer base. You need to take into consideration the fact that there hasn't been any mass adoption of AI in Africa. We are still at very early stages as compared to like the European markets or the North American markets, right? A lot of the things we are trying to sell right now are still very new to a lot of these businesses. And so in that light, I would say I can hit my chest and say we have been on a very like steady increase. We have on this very steady ascent in terms of our customer base. We currently work with a number of like clients that cut across like across an entire spectrum, right? So we've worked with large corporations such as Unilever. We've worked with the UK government as well. We are also engaging like big to small level enterprises as well, right? So we are also engaging mid to small level. So let's say, for example, we are talking to a 4,000 hectare plantation mango plantation in Ivory Coast. We are speaking to a 1,500 hectare plantation in oil palm plantation in Angola, or we are having conversations with a 3,000 hectare plantation in rubber plantation in Nigeria, right? So we have clients that span across the entire spectrum, and you have situations where we are also we've been able to attract clients like the UK government, Unilever, DP World, it's like global giants, right? And so I would say we have experienced like our approach. We have experienced like steady increase in our customer base. We've experienced like growth across board. So it's I would say it's been good. I can't complain. It could be better, right? Because when you have mass adoption, more people know about this stuff. More people want to try it. More people want to integrate AI to it. So I will say mass adoption will definitely go a long way to changing the game totally for us. But at the pace that we are going, I would say it's good. It's good.
Yeah. I have a map as my background of, you know, where I live in London. And again, in terms of contrast, the countries that you were talking about, it makes it seem like such a different world. And I've been to Tanzania. That's it for me. That was 2017. But yeah, I know very little about the countries you're mentioning.
You can't come to Africa and not visit Ghana. At least you should come to Ghana.
Sorry, I didn't yet, but I'd love to.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay. Are you willing to tell us how many customers you have?
I might get
Sorry,
fired if I
don't mean to test you.
No. It's all good. I can give you like an idea of. So it would be hard for me personally to call the specific number of clients that we have, but I can tell you we have worked with, especially around Geospatial, we have worked with at least 10 companies, major corporations as well as small to medium-sized businesses. We have existing conversations, or we are currently engaging at least 10 to 12, around the same number of companies that we have already worked with around Geospatial AI. And it's just the beginning of the second quarter, so it can only get better.
Yeah. And sorry, did you say you've been going for 3 years now?
Yeah, we're just 3 years old. We turned 3 in March, I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's decent. For just customers related to geospatial. Okay. So continuing that theme, why has Aya Data chosen to use geospatial and AI to transform cropping and forestry?
Yeah. So Aya Data, a bit of background story behind Aya Data, right? We originate from a parent company called Demeter. Demeter are one of the biggest fertilizer suppliers in West Africa. And so we are like a child company that came out of Demeter, and because our founder used to work with Demeter, and Demeter, the CEO of Demeter, one of is on our board. And so we, by virtue of being from Demeter, we already had let's say because Demeter are quite huge in agriculture and forestry, right? So we just kind of, some of that just rubbed off on us. But beyond our founders, beyond our origins, the whole idea to go into cropping just basically started off when we started having conversations with, let's say, some of our friends in the farming industry, having conversations with these people, trying to understand what are the challenges, right? Because Africa is huge. Africa is huge. Africa has possibly, apart from Asia, one of the biggest in terms of largest land size. And when you compare the land size that we have and how many farmers we have on the continent, right? And you compare it to the level of production that goes on on a global scale, we are far behind, right?
Yeah.
I think
there's a huge opportunity there.
Of banana, right, in the entire world should be Rwanda or Uganda, one of them. And they are the third highest producers of exporters of banana, right? But you'd find out that they only contribute to less than 10% of the entire banana production globally, right? You have a country like Brazil or Venezuela that is doing 10, 20 times that number. And
wow.
we just recognize that it all boiled down to the fact that there were existing challenges that needed to be tackled. There were things that we have a team that spans across different agricultural experts, and we're talking to these people. How can we take what we are doing now from point A to point B, right? How can we make sure we are maximizing it? And we just realized that the absence of AI, the absence of this tech is one of the reasons why our CEO sat down, spoke to some of the stakeholders of the company. We sat down and we were like, bro, there is an opportunity here. There is a chance for us to be able to do what we are doing already, and if integrated with agriculture, integrated with forestry as well. So I think it was apart from our origins from Demeter, it came from a place of us trying to tackle some of the major challenges such as data inadequacy, waste of resources, and all these other things that were plaguing like the general traditional means of agriculture here in like the sub-Saharan Africa and Africa in general.
It seems like the term digital transformation might also apply to farming.
Very much so, very much so. And we went to a farm. I went to a farm a few weeks ago. They're over 4,000 hectares, really huge farm, right? And a lot of their processes are still very manual, right? They count trees, they send people out to the field to count trees manually, and they have like a little notebook where like they write down the amount of trees on this block. And they basically just told us they are not digitized in any way, right? We spoke to some rubber clients as well, and they told us the highest form of digitization they've experienced and these people own thousands of hectares, bear in mind, the highest form of digitization they've experienced, it's WhatsApp.
Right.
Right. The fact that they have a WhatsApp where they can broadcast messages, that is the highest form of digitization they've experienced. And these are companies that are decades old, right?
Yep.
And these are the big ones. Imagine the smallholder farmer that has probably never heard of artificial intelligence, right? And so when you think of these problems, when you think of these challenges, and you think of how, as a business, we can solve these challenges and basically contribute to our quota as well, it's a no-brainer for us. We just did the math and thought it was a no-brainer. This is definitely something we need to be addressing as a business.
Sure. Yeah, I can see how selling a broadly used commodity like fertilizer would expose you to a huge number of customers and regularly see the kinds of problems that they face that are beyond what fertilizer can solve. For example, the need for digital transformation. So that's it's a sensible sounding origin for the company. Okay, so how do your analytics help with tree counting, yield prediction, nutrient deficiency detection, pest and disease detection, and blank spot analysis? I've literally just read off your website. But yeah, if you could give us some commentary about how the path you're offering for digital transformation for these farms.
Okay. I will speak about our solution, what we've built currently later, but just to give you like the workflow or the flow of how our like analytics help with this stuff is, so our product basically ingests data, right, from like a target sites. So if we're speaking to a client, the client helps us collect data either through drones, satellites, or field data like handheld mobile devices, right? And then we process this data using the algorithms that we built in-house. And then we visualize these results on like an interactive dashboard. And basically that dashboard provides tree-level insights to inform like overall crop management decisions, right? And so in terms of how it helps with tree count, for instance, let me give you like an example. You send out a drone to like a 4,000 hectare. I know I've used 4,000 a lot. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
It's a
large number. I'm from
Yeah.
Australia, and I'm used to hearing large farm sizes in Australia. So it's nice
Australia is quite huge. Yeah. So you go there, and then these drones are sent out, gathers all this data, right? We process it, and we are able to tell, let's say, the farmer, in your 4,500 hectare farm, you have 10,000 trees, right? And we are able to give like insights on the exact size of these trees, the length, the width, the crown diameter. You understand? Is the tree healthy?
Yeah, no, all these terms.
The tree stick, right? Are there areas of your plantation that need more precision, like in terms of the spraying? Are there like areas of your plantation that is suffering from, let's say, a deficiency in a lack of potassium, for instance, or a lack of general NPK like things, right? And it's even with the tree counts, you send out these drones, it gives you the data. We're able to use this AI to identify which part of your plantation do you have empty plots. And that's the blank spot analysis. Which part of your plantation do you have empty plots? You need to be planting in these areas. You need to utilize, you have been blindsided. You don't see this amount of land that can be used to plant more trees, right? And early disease detection, we're able to use computer vision to be able to train AI models to track. And when they see things like, okay, discoloration on like a leaf, they're able to tell you, okay, this part of your plantation might be prone to this disease, or this part of your plantation might be prone to this pest, right? And that's basically how it works. And it helps to inform the farmer, and the farmer is able to take very early decisions to mitigate some of these problems, as well as increases yield generally, right? There are other so with the solution is ever expanding, right? And like I said, we do like a very personalized approach. So we are speaking to these people, and they tell us, okay, we have a problem with this particular disease, and we work with their team. We have like a large team of researchers, of geospatial engineers and scientists. We have like agri experts we consult on. We speak to these farmers, to these plantations. We know what kind of problem are you dealing with? How can we help? Right. And yeah, so it's basically a general overview of how the analytics help with mitigate some of these problems.
Great. So my understanding is you have an analytics platform. It sounds like you have some software developers that are developing that. Am I correct in understanding that basically it starts almost with issuing the farmer with a drone, and you do some sort of aerial imagery survey of their farm, and you feed that imagery into the platform? Is that how it begins?
Yeah, the first step is always the data collection, right?
Yeah.
And so some of these farmers that we engage with, they already have their drones.
Yeah.
And some don't have drones. We do not have drones personally, but we have drone partners that we leverage.
So they will then collect the data.
So they will collect the data. Depending on the kind of data you're looking to collect, or depending on the kind of problem you're looking to solve, you can collect RGB data, you can collect LiDAR data, you can collect like the different data, and then we now take that data, process it through our our proprietary AI algorithm, and then it displays on the dashboard. That's very easy to, and we consider the fact that we come from a region that is doesn't have high literacy levels, right? So you have to make sure whatever information we are putting on this dashboard is easy to read, is easy to understand, and not just putting the insights, right? You have to make recommendations. You have to tell these farmers how to approach this problem that has been discovered, basically.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Do you happen to have the software open on your computer? I'm just wondering, I realize I didn't ask you to prepare for this, but if you happen to be able to share your screen quickly showing something, if not, so that's okay.
So with that one, I would have to call our technical guys, because I don't know the technical how the software works, but we are in the process of basically, and I will speak on that later, but we are in the process of basically, because so far what we've done is we have this algorithm that we work with, very technical. If you're not a very technical person, you could not possibly use it, but we want to create an API, put it out there on our website, where like farmers that we do not even engage with directly, right, can come on our website, upload their data, select whatever like issues or whatever crop that they're looking to, and then the software basically processes it and gives them the insight that they're looking at, right? And so I guess when we're at that stage, it will be easier for me to just share my screen and then take it to the website. But if you ask me to share my screen now, you're gonna cause problems.
That's okay. I didn't just let you prepare anything.
An overview of like how it works.
That's great. I'm really excited. I'd love to do another session and see it in real life.
Yes, yes, yes. We had a situation where like this client from Malaysia, we kind of did a demo for him, right? And he was like, he doesn't believe it has to be, it's not possible, right? And we kind of like took him through the back end business, and he was like, he apologized and like, it's
Yeah.
good. He understands now. And I'm like, okay.
So you have a client in Malaysia?
I wouldn't call them a client. We have like a partner. We are like
Yeah.
joint research, developing something for them.
Yeah. Ah, cool. Okay. All right. So what is the IR Smart Palm Management Solution? Speaking of platforms.
Yes, the IR Smart Oil Palm Management Solution is basically what I've described in the past few minutes, but it's basically our proprietary products that uses data collected from satellites, drones, and field data, processes it using our customized AI algorithm, and then deploys like insights that help farmers, help businesses to make um, very driven, very concise agronomic decisions, right? And this software is basically, we are adapting it to serve a number of crops ranging from oil palm to banana to rubber to mango as well. We are also researching, we are also speaking to developers of coffee and tea as well to see how we can basically tailor what we've built to their like industry as well.
I was just thinking because like I'm from not from a tropical part of Australia. I'm from the south. So I guess I was realizing that all of those crops you were mentioning, are they from different types of palm trees?
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Your camera is on, Mike.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's good to see everyone.
So,
Yeah, everyone's
yes,
welcome to
yes.
turn on the cameras if they want to.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it a
So
rubber tree? I guess is my question, because I'm so ignorant about these crops. So is it a rubber tree
that's
or a
fine. That's
rubber
fine.
palm?
No. So it's rubber tree, and
Okay.
there is oil palm, right? And the
Okay.
rubber
Yeah.
tree is what is used to extract whatever is being used to make like the tires and
Yeah.
any products that have to do with like rubber, basically.
Yep. They cut a hole
But yeah,
in
just
or a
to
groove
answer
in the
your
bark, right?
question,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, exactly. To answer your question, it's Africa as a whole, different sub-regions of Africa have like crops or have like um, fruits that are very typical, very natural to them, right? So you go to the southern part of Africa, you grow a lot of like citrus, you grow a lot of apples, you grow a lot of like oranges, and then you come to the western part of Africa, we grow a lot of palm, we grow a lot of rubber. It's a terrain thing, right? And you go to the East Africa, they grow a lot of tea, a lot of coffee. So depending
Yep.
on your topography, it basically like informs the kind of fruits or kind of like crops that will be popular in your region. So
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see a map of these common crops. I keep thinking about all the contrasts because, of course, I'd like to compare it with a similar map of Australia. Anyway, there's a lot of interesting work that can be done here. All right. So overall, I understand the IR Smart Palm Management Solution is your, I guess, software product for digital transformation of these types of farms. And you said that perhaps you will adapt it to other kinds of crops. It sounds like. Okay, so then moving on to the next question. As everyone's aware, AI is all the rage. Deep learning and algorithmic analysis of matrix data sets, however, are not new to geospatial. such as in the subdiscipline of Earth observation. So IAData serves itself as deploying AI solutions. Has the recent hype led to more sales? Are customers well informed and critical consumers despite the hype? Or are there some unrealistic expectations to do with AI that you're having to deal with?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I will answer the question in like different folds, right? So yes, the recent hype surrounding AI has definitely increased awareness. It's also led to like improved sales on our part. However, in our region, it's very important to recognize the distinction between the fact that hype does not necessarily align with understanding, right? So there are a lot of companies, there are a lot of businesses that know about AI, right? But there's often like a lack of knowledge with regards to the practical applications, right? So even some of these people we're speaking to, some of the farmers that we're engaging, right? And they will tell you, I've heard about artificial intelligence. I don't know what it is, right? And for them, the highest level of AI they've probably experienced in their like real life, or that like they're conscious of is maybe their iPhone, the Siri on their iPhone, right? And so it's sometimes it's difficult to be able to properly like properly just walk into a room and then expect everybody to understand what you're talking about. And that is where we come in. We are happy to do the education. We're happy to engage these people. We're happy to engage businesses and tell them, you need to integrate AI in what you're doing right now. What you're doing right now, when you integrate AI, it helps transform your business from point A to point B, right? When you integrate this thing, integrate this solution, it can help increase your yields from, let's say, 50% to like 150%, right? And it's for us, we're happy to do the education. For us, we're happy to engage these people and then talk to them about it. So I wouldn't say our customers are well informed, but they definitely know about the AI hype. To answer the question about the unrealistic expectations, I think for me, the way I look at it is, before I started working with IAData, I had very limited knowledge of what AI and the possibilities were. Even when I started working with IAData, day in, day out, we see possibilities that are beyond what we currently comprehend, right? So even when ChatGPT came out last year, I think, or 2 years ago, it blew everybody's minds because we didn't, at that time, we couldn't comprehend that level of AI, right? So I have a funny story to tell in that regard. We had a client that we've built something for that came in from the UK actually, right? And we get like an inbound message talking to us about how they want to use AI to do something in the cemetery, right? And I was like, how do you marry like AI to the death business, right? And it was like I was like, we were quite confused, but then we engaged the clients, we spoke to them, and then we understood what exactly they wanted. So basically, they wanted to monitor the tilts in gravestones like across time, right? So they're able to use computer vision to monitor the tilts and know which gravestones need to be replaced, which gravestones need to be exactly. And before that, we hadn't thought about that. And if you probably had told us, oh, we can use AI in the cemetery business, would I probably told you, you're not.
This is a great example of land cover change detection, or
Exactly. And
that's great.
That was so for me. I would say we have engaged some clients that they want some things that at the moment might sound very unrealistic, but like I said earlier, we have an entire research team from agricultural experts to geospatial scientists. So we are ready to we approach problems where we hear stuff and you can speak to a client and he's telling you he needs to do this thing, and then you think about it, and you're like, I don't know if we could do this thing, but we are always willing to take on a challenge and do the research and then go into it. So I wouldn't say anything is what's the word you used? I wouldn't say anything is unrealistic at all. Yes, exactly. So we just
I'm convinced.
we just exactly. So we just try to manage expectations, but yeah, look into it as well.
All right. I look forward to expanding the industry of AI in the funeral and cemetery market. That's great.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm on to my last question, and I thought after that, if anybody else who's joined in, and it's fantastic, we've had so many guests. If anybody else wants to ask questions after this, please do. So my last one is that in the UK, where I currently am based, it is possible to undertake a geospatial apprenticeship. So what qualities, skills, or ambitions should an apprentice have to do well at IR Data? And how are you fostering the next generation of geospatial analysts in Ghana?
Yeah. So central to what we believe in at IR is we believe in learning and upskilling our staff. We have some members of IR Data on the call as well, and they are testaments to the fact that since the company started like 3 years ago, about 70% of the people that came in as, because we started as a strictly data annotation company until we like expanded our like service offerings. A lot of people that came in as a data like specialist have gone on to upskill and fill up like higher level positions, right? So at IR Data, as long as you're open-minded, as long as you show the right amount of dedication and willingness to learn or willingness to challenge yourself, there will always be the opportunity. I came in as a data specialist, right? From a marketing background, I came in, I was a bit intrigued about the AI thing. I came in and then I found a way to basically marry my previous career to AI and then excelled in my new role, right? And so it's as long as you show the right amount of dedication. And just beyond that, what we are doing for like the geospatial spaces, we have a partnership with one of the foremost tech companies here in Ghana. They're called Blossom Academy. And the partnership basically serves as a pipeline for us to refine some of our like stuff. And so you have stuff that we sponsor to take like certain tech courses to upgrade their like their certifications and stuff like that. And beyond that, we have like an internal internship program where we have staff that are interested in branching off to like the geospatial like bits. They intern with our geospatial scientists and our machine learning engineers for 3-6 months.
Awesome.
Once the geospatial scientists feel like they've learned enough and they've been able to grasp what the role entails, we usher them into like a junior geospatial scientist role where like they engage with like active live projects and it helps them as well. So we do have a system. We are very passionate about like yeah. So I guess that's
you guys
our
are great.
Contribution to the,
yeah,
to the next
this
gen.
is wonderful. Excellent. Okay. I got one more question then. How big actually is your geospatial team?
Okay, I think currently I don't want to misquote, but currently we have about 6 geospatial scientists / analysts. We also have about 4 to 5 DevOps engineers, and we have a very expansive expert network. So we have an expert network that I majorly contributed to, where we basically recruit like people that are like experts in agric over like decades as consultants. So they help us, they follow us to the field, they engage clients with us. When we have a problem, we are trying to find a way around. We also engage them and try to know like gain their expertise on this problem. So I would say, give or take, we have a team of in-house. We have a team of about 12 to 15 in our geospatial department, and it's still expanding as well.
That's quite a decent team.
Yeah.
I have a funny observation. I just realized, Anthony, that your initials are AI.
Yeah, I was born for this.
You were.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all of my questions. Of course, I want to hear from anybody else on this call. I've never had the chance to do this before because usually I just do a podcast with one guest and that's it. But there's lots of other people on this call. So please, if you have any other questions, ask them. Roy, did you put up your hand? Do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that IA data can take advantage of down review and see how AI ties into geoengineering and stuff like that.
I'm sorry, you cut out there. You said it can take advantage of something.
The down draw review, like it's kind of a concise review of how to implement solutions for sustainability.
Okay.
I just wanted to highlight on that.
Yeah. Thanks for that suggestion, Roy. We'll look into that.
All right.
We're doing some exciting work around the EUDR. We are trying to develop something that helps companies to track basically track their deforestation and make sure that, I don't know if you've heard about the EUDR thing.
I haven't. I don't know what that acronym means.
Yeah, so EUDR is don't take my word for it, but it's the Europe, is a regulation that basically has been enforced in Europe now that states that any product that comes into Europe, they have to be able to
deforestation-free products. I just went on Google.
Yes.
Regulate. Yes. Okay.
Yes. So we are working on a solution, building something around that as well that helps companies, like a traceability thing, that helps them trace their products and make sure they're abiding within the So
sure.
It's a very interesting one.
Yeah, I suppose what you could do, your platform could facilitate farmers using metrics to demonstrate a lack of deforestation and in fact maybe increasing the size of plantations on their farms.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. I'm writing that down now.
Yeah, there's all sorts of, I mean, your imagination easily makes up new applications and ways to really cause this digital transformation of farming. Like I said, I want to travel down and go on one of your field trips now.
Yes. But you have an invite, special invite from IA Data. I'll give you one of the T-shirts as well, so you have extra incentive to come.
The Geospatial Index can go on a field trip and can...
That'll be really cool. That'll be really cool.
All right. Well, I think we're at time. I would love to keep talking, but I'm aware of it being late in the day for you guys on Friday, and it's the weekend, so I don't want to outstay my welcome.
A really nice conversation, Wilfred. It's really nice to meet you. Hopefully, we get the recording for the people that weren't able to join in, and then let's have more of these conversations in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I see Daniel's typing. I don't want to end things before. You can just say it, Daniel, if you want to. Oh, here we go. Daniel said, I have a question. With the current state of climate change anomalies happening around the world, does IA Data have any AI-related solutions or products to help monitor and report trends to the Ghanaian government? It's a great question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. We do not have a solution that reports trends to the Ghanaian government yet, But we do have exciting reforestation projects that we've worked on. And one of that is with a company called Oko Environmental. And basically, what we did was we built a system for them that basically helps them track how fast the seedlings of the reforestation, how fast the seedlings grow. And then we also, the system also provides a way to classify the different trees at the different ages, and helps helped Oko to track, to make sure their reforestation efforts are being done. But yeah, definitely we have very vested interest in sustainability and climate change as well. So it's definitely something that we'll be willing to consider, as long as it's within what we can build. So.
And so long as you're working backwards from a customer need.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So then, dealing with governments can be quite tricky, right? You build something and they're like, I don't know if we want this, right? So for us, we are engaging. We are speaking to anybody that is willing to ask the questions and willing to tackle the problems.
Yeah, I guess government regulations like this regulation on deforestation-free products will quickly become a customer need, especially if the government is good at enforcing these regulations. So, yeah. Okay, so then, yeah, thanks. It was Daniel, right, that asked it. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah.
Was there another comment? He also said, excellent, thanks. Good.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we've got some engagement. I guess I don't want it to end, but I think we maybe should, unless anyone else has any other questions. Daniel's typing. Whilst Daniel's typing, I'll try and do my best to sum up. So my understanding is you have set up a digital transformation platform, if I can put it that way, for farmers. And this has come from the observation from being a spin out of a fertilizer distribution company in Ghana and across that part of the world, that there is a gap between productivity on farms in Ghana and the region compared to other farms in other parts of the world. So in trying to solve that productivity gap, you have come up with I can just say an AI-powered geospatial analysis or analytics dashboard that consumes or starts with data collected by drones and does a bunch of geospatial and AI-driven analyses to look at the reasons why productivity might be low on a farm, so that this productivity gap can be closed. Is that a good way to summarize it?
That's right on point. It might take my job with that summary, but yeah, that's a good way to summarize it.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah. On that note, yeah, really proud to have talked with you, Anthony, and it's a privilege to have had the chance to profile AI data. So thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Wilfred. Hopefully, we connect in the future. Have a nice weekend.
You too. Let's stay in touch.